A son named Mark took his old father, John, to a restaurant for an evening dinner. John was very old and weak. While eating, he dropped food on his shirt and trousers. Other diners watched him in disgust, but Mark was calm. John's hands trembled as he tried to eat his soup. A spoonful spilled onto the tablecloth. People whispered and stared. Mark didn't say anything. He just smiled at his father and continued eating. John's shirt was stained, and bits of food clung to his trousers. A woman at a nearby table shook her head. Mark noticed but did not react. He kept his focus on his father. After they finished eating, Mark stood up and helped his father to his feet. John leaned heavily on his son. Mark led him to the washroom, supporting him every step of the way. In the washroom, Mark gently wiped the food particles from John's shirt. He dabbed at the stains with a wet cloth. John looked at his son with gratitude in his eyes. Mark smiled back, full of love and patience. Mark combed his father's hair, smoothing it down carefully. He adjusted John's spectacles, making sure they fit snugly on his nose. John's eyes shone with appreciation. Mark gave him a reassuring nod. They walked out of the washroom together. The entire restaurant was silent, watching them. Mark held his father's arm firmly, guiding him with care. John moved slowly but steadily with his son's help. Mark went to the counter to settle the bill. He paid quietly, without any fuss. The cashier gave him a sympathetic look, but Mark just smiled and thanked him. As they started to leave, an old man amongst the diners called out to Mark. "Don't you think you have left something behind?" he asked. Mark turned around, puzzled. "No, sir, I haven't," Mark replied politely. The old man shook his head. "Yes, you have. You left a lesson for every son and hope for every father." Mark paused for a moment, then smiled warmly at the old man. He nodded in acknowledgement and continued walking out with his father. The restaurant remained silent, the weight of the old man's words sinking in. People whispered among themselves, their faces thoughtful. They had witnessed something profound. Mark's actions had touched their hearts in ways they did not expect. Outside, the evening air was cool and refreshing. Mark took a deep breath, feeling a sense of fulfillment. John looked up at the sky, his eyes reflecting the stars above. He felt a deep sense of pride in his son. They walked slowly down the street, side by side. Mark's heart was full of love for his father. He knew that moments like these were precious. John's heart was filled with gratitude. He knew he was blessed to have a son like Mark. They reached home, and Mark helped his father inside. John sank into his favorite chair, feeling tired but content. Mark sat beside him, holding his hand. They shared a quiet moment together, filled with unspoken understanding. John's eyes grew heavy with sleep. Mark watched as his father drifted off, his breathing slow and steady. He felt a deep sense of peace, knowing he had done the right thing. As the night wore on, Mark thought about the old man's words. He realized the importance of what he had done. He had shown respect and love for his father, setting an example for others to follow. John's sleep was peaceful, a small smile on his lips. He dreamt of the days when he was young and strong. In his dreams, he saw Mark as a little boy, looking up to him with wide eyes. Now, the roles had reversed, and he felt a deep sense of gratitude. Mark stayed by his father's side, keeping watch over him. He knew that every moment was precious. He was determined to make the most of the time they had left together. The next morning, John woke up feeling refreshed. Mark greeted him with a warm smile and a cup of tea. They shared a quiet breakfast, enjoying each other's company. The bond between them had grown even stronger. As the days went by, Mark continued to care for his father with love and patience. John's health slowly improved, and he felt a renewed sense of hope. The memory of that evening at the restaurant remained with them, a reminder of the power of love and respect. People in the neighborhood started to notice the change in John. They saw how Mark cared for him and were inspired by his actions. It wasn't long before word spread, and Mark's story became well known. One day, a young man approached Mark on the street. "I heard about what you did for your father," he said. "It made me realize how important it is to care for my own parents. Thank you for setting such a good example." Mark felt a warm glow of pride. He nodded, feeling grateful for the opportunity to make a difference. John watched from a distance, his heart swelling with pride for his son. Over time, more and more people were inspired by Mark's actions. They began to treat their own parents with greater care and respect. The community grew stronger, united by the power of love and compassion. John's health continued to improve, and he felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that his son's love and care had made all the difference. He was grateful for every moment they shared together. Mark and John spent their days enjoying simple pleasures. They took walks in the park, reminisced about old times, and shared laughter and tears. Their bond grew deeper with each passing day. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, John turned to his son. "Thank you, Mark," he said softly, "for everything. You've given me hope and made me feel loved." Mark squeezed his father's hand, his eyes filled with emotion. "I'm the one who should be thanking you, Dad," he replied. "You've taught me so much about life and love. I'm grateful for every moment we've had together." As the sun dipped below the horizon, they sat in silence, savoring the beauty of the moment. They knew that life was fragile and precious, and they were determined to make the most of the time they had left together. The story of Mark and John continued to inspire those around them. Their love and respect for each other served as a powerful reminder of the importance of family. They showed that no matter how old or weak someone may become, they deserve to be treated with dignity and love. In the end, it was not just a lesson for every son and hope for every father. It was a lesson for everyone, a reminder that love and respect are the foundations of a strong and compassionate society. As the years went by, Mark continued to care for his father with unwavering devotion. John's health slowly declined, but his spirit remained strong. He knew that he was deeply loved, and that gave him strength. One day, as John lay in bed, he looked up at his son. I'm proud of you, Mark, he said weakly. You've been the best son a father could ask for. Tears filled Mark's eyes as he held his father's hand. I'm proud of you too, Dad, he whispered. You've taught me everything I know about love and kindness. I'm so grateful for you. John smiled, his eyes closing as he drifted off to sleep. Mark sat by his side, holding his hand, and stayed with him through the night. He knew that the end was near, but he felt at peace, knowing that they had shared so much love and joy together. In the early hours of the morning, John took his last breath. Mark held him close, tears streaming down his face. He felt a deep sense of loss, but also a profound sense of gratitude. He had been blessed with a wonderful father, and he knew that their love would live on forever. Mark arranged a beautiful funeral for his father, honoring his memory with love and respect. People from the community came to pay their respects, sharing stories of how they had been inspired by Mark and John's bond. As Mark stood by his father's grave, he felt a deep sense of peace. He knew that his father was in a better place, free from pain and suffering. He also knew that their love would continue to guide him for the rest of his life. In the years that followed, Mark carried on his father's legacy of love and kindness. He helped others in the community, always treating them with the same respect and compassion he had shown his father. People looked up to him, and he became a source of inspiration for many. Mark never forgot the lesson he had learned from his father. He knew that love and respect were the most important things in life, and he made it his mission to spread that message to others. He dedicated his life to helping those in need, always remembering the profound impact his father had on him. As time went on, Mark grew older, but he remained strong in spirit. He knew that his father was watching over him, guiding him with love. He felt a deep sense of purpose, knowing that he was making a difference in the world. One day, as Mark sat on his porch, watching the sunset, he thought about his father. He felt a wave of gratitude wash over him, knowing that he had been blessed with a wonderful life. He had experienced love, loss, joy, and sorrow, but through it all, he had remained true to the values his father had instilled in him. Mark knew that his time would come one day, but he was not afraid. He felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that he had lived a life filled with love and compassion. He knew that his father would be waiting for him, ready to welcome him with open arms. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Mark closed his eyes and smiled. He felt a warm breeze on his face, and in that moment, he knew that his father was with him. He felt a sense of contentment, knowing that he had lived a life filled with love and purpose. In the end, Mark's story was not just about a son and his father. It was a story about the power of love, respect, and compassion. It was a reminder that we are all connected, and that our actions can have a profound impact on those around us. Mark's legacy lived on, inspiring future generations to treat each other with kindness and respect. His story became a beacon of hope, a reminder that love is the most powerful force in the world. As the years passed, people continued to share Mark and John's story, passing it down from one generation to the next. It became a symbol of the enduring bond between parent and child, a testament to the power of love and compassion. In the end, Mark's life was a testament to the lessons he had learned from his father. He had lived a life filled with love, kindness, and respect, and he had made a difference in the world. His story was a reminder that we all have the power to make a positive impact, no matter how small our actions may seem. And so, the legacy of Mark and John lived on, a shining example of the power of love and compassion. Their story continued to inspire, touching the hearts of people all around the world. It was a reminder that no matter how old or weak someone may become, they deserve to be treated with dignity and love.